Welcome to the Hour of Power podcast. Myself, Trey. I've got two great co-hosts tonight. My God, we got Katie right here. She's been on several sports podcasts. She's been on here before. Everybody knows who Katie Rose is. And then, of course, my right-hand man over here, and actually on the right of the screen. I don't know how this is going to come out, but as of right now, he's to the right of me. And my right-hand man, Logan Frazier. We used to do a little podcast called the Georgia Indy Heat Podcast. And here he is tonight talking NWA with me once again. We're back for episode 5. There goes my light. I'm in a closet, guys. It's creepy kind of. I've got this whole... but honestly, if you're listening to us on Spotify, it's not really going to matter much.
No.
But as I continue to turn this closet into a podcast room, I haven't quite perfected it. I do work a job, like Logan over here and Katie, who's a freaking full-time mom of how many kids you got? Like 5,000?
27.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's got to feel like 5,004. Logan over there too, man. Whew.
5.
Between all of us, my God. Yeah, we could start a football team.
At least. Our own league. Our own football
Right?
league.
But the kids are giving us a break for a little bit to talk about NWA action. Tonight, we got two big-time matchups. The matchup that we have been building up for a week or two. It's Hammerstone and it's Thrillbilly. It's the main event. It's two big-ass dudes going head-to-head. They're in the picture right here. You can kind of see them. They don't need light, unlike me. They're going to be in the main event. And we're finally going to get that Max Impaler versus Mims match. You know, me and Knighton were like little schoolboys when we watched that matchup. We were always cheering for Mims. Seems like Max always got the upper hand on Mims in the past. But this is the present. So let's talk about it. Let's jump right into it. We get a Mims promo at the beginning of the show, and then we get Max the Impaler taking on Mims for the National Heavyweight Championship match. I like this match. I always like it when they have this match because these two work good together, and it's not like it's perfect. It almost looks like a sloppy fight, and I'm okay with that because it gives it a realism kind of thing with it. Max is just a brutal beast going at him, biting him and everything, and it's just like, Mims. Now we've reversed the roles. Mims is the heel and Max is the face. And it's a little bit different dynamic this time, which I liked.
Who
Hey,
did Max used to have with them?
Sinister Ministry.
Max used to have James Mitchell with him, and that's what we'll get to at the end of the match. Let's go ahead and get to the end of the match. We got Jeeves on the outside running his mouth. Max with a nasty lariat. Picks Mims back up. Mims gets the big, strong slam for the clean win. And I love that. They have really built up Mims quite good. This did not hurt Max the Impaler. Max the Impaler, I look at it as just like without somebody guiding her, she's going to make mistakes basically. And she's still a threat because she's a monster, right? So I didn't feel like it hurt Max very much at all. And then at the end of the match, we get the loss coming out to do what to Max? Well, we end up finding that out here in a little bit. But first, let's get our thoughts on this first matchup. Katie, what did you think of this with Mims picking up the clean win against Max the Impaler?
Honestly, I was surprised at how hard hitting it was. I mean, they literally were picking each other up and throwing each other onto the mat over and over and over again. This
Two
was
heavyweights.
Yeah, this was not a typical match that I would expect to see on NWA. They're not usually not that they're not physical matches, they are, but this had I felt like this had more of the I'm picking my opponent up and slamming them down onto the mat rather than the hits or the bouncing off of the rope. I could be wrong, but that was just kind of my feel on it, and I was really excited that Mims got the win.
Yeah, I was too. Even though he is the heel in the story, I thought Jeeves was going to get involved and help him pick up the victory. But
He
I
didn't
feel
have
like
to.
sometimes you got to make, especially when you have a heel like Mims, who's known for his power, big, strong Mims. Hey, it's okay for a heel Mims to get a clean win. He's a big dude. He's a
He
monster
is.
too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big, strong Mims. So glad Mims picks up the victory here and retains the national heavyweight championship and is going on to the next show, which I guess they're going to be showing NWA 77 pretty soon. But either way, they continue to build Mims and they continue to build him as perhaps a challenger for the NWA Heavyweight Championship, which I also like. Jeeves
Yeah.
also works for him. He's his mouthpiece, great on the mic. The Annoyer and the Destroyer. What else can you say? Love these guys. Max Impaler. I'm liking where the loss is still messing with her. James Mitchell is still messing with her. It really turns her to the face character where she's a sympathetic character. Logan, let's get your thoughts on this match.
I thought it was a great match, and you brought up a point that I was going to bring out, the whole fact that, with him having the title, he has to get those 7 wins in, so he is a legitimate challenger to the heavyweight title. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where they're building, and it doesn't hurt. You're right. It doesn't hurt Mim. It it doesn't hurt
Max.
for her to get him to get a win over Max because she had a win over him. So it was kind of like a rubber match. It was, hey, you give a little while
Right.
I'm champ, I give a little while you're champ. Everything pans out. Plus, you have Max in the process of becoming a face. So you've got that process where she has to kind of seem vulnerable when you have them come out and luring her to the back. And I loved that whole
Yes,
aspect.
yeah.
It
She goes
showed that,
chasing after him.
yeah, and it showed that NWA is ready to really do this thing. It's not just what's happening in the ring. We got a backstage movement with the camera. I
Yeah,
thought they
let's
did it
let's let's talk about
really
that
well.
because yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And
Yeah.
then we cut to some more hype between Crossfire Wrestling and JCP NWA. Like I said, after seeing the NWA 77 results, it's very clear what we're building to with Joe Kazana and Tommy going back and forth at the old watering hole. Joe Kazana cracking me up all the way. Great heel. You want to see him get his ass kicked. That's what a heel's supposed to do. Joe Kazana working the room there and we finally figured out what that is all about. What it is all about is between Crossfire and JCP's match at NWA 77. That is exactly what it is building towards. And they're doing a pretty good little job of it because I'm wanting to see Crossfire kick their asses, to be honest with you. And I know Joe, and I know AJ, and I still am like I'm found myself rooting for Kenzie and Kylie's dad here. But that's a nice little match they're building up to, where it's a 4-on-4 at NWA 77. I'm not going to reveal the spoilers to that, but again, a great little matchup that they're building to. Um, any thoughts on this before we move on?
I will say this: I like.
I actually
Go ahead, Katie.
Go ahead. Oh, we'll start with Logan. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I do think that it's important, and it's something that NWA is really good at with tag teams, is to have something for a tag team to do besides chasing a belt. And they're really good
Yeah.
at putting them in spots where they're still interesting. They're still, uh, you know, out there doing something. And instead of just, it's title shot after title shot after title shot. I'm going to throw every team in the whole entire thing in a triple threat match, and whoever gets a title shot
Right.
next month the other person will out of the triple threat match. And it's like, you're just doing tag teams to be able to say you're doing tag teams instead of actually elevating
Right.
these wrestlers. And NWA is good at that.
Yes, they are. They're good at developing that division. That division is super, super deep. Like I said, it's probably the best tag division in all of professional wrestling, and nobody even really knows it. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, I guess everybody would consider AEW to perhaps have a good tag division, but it's like, man, you've got great character development in this tag division. You've got a lot of depth. You've got comedy tag teams. You've got serious tag teams. You got over the top gimmick tag teams. You got everything in this division, and and I think they're building towards the Crossfire and JCP, where you are going to have featured tag teams in that matchup coming up. So we're moving on, and we get more of Carson Drake. We get a review of him losing his match against Brian Idol for the television championship, and he's complaining to the ref, and the ref's like, "Hey, I didn't even ref your match, man." He's like, "What? What? You all look the same to me." Carson Drake, great character development. The more we can see Carson Drake on screen, promoing and just any kind of storyline wise, the better. This man
Mm-hmm.
is great on the mic. This is a great character. He knows his character. And from what we've seen from the NWA 77, he partners up with Aaron Stevens. So I'm very interested to see how they mix him with Aaron Stevens. And I think that's a fantastic idea. My God, what a that's an awesome tag team. But yeah, somehow they're going to be coming together at some point. Not to spoil anything, but again, you were able to at least see the matches, even if you didn't check the result. Aaron Stevens does tag with Carson Drake at NWA 77. So somehow I kind of see Aaron Stevens maybe getting involved some way. Katie, what do you think about old Carson Drake?
Um, I laughed so hard when he was right up in the ref's face and you all look the same. What am I didn't know. How was I supposed to know? And just like the idea that like, it's kind of like that person that treats the janitor like crap.
Yeah.
Um, but all of these I guess cameos that we're seeing from some of these guys, we even had one from Tom Latimer. Um, you know, they're keeping these wrestlers characters in our brain without them actually having a match.
They're reminding you, even though Tom Latimer has not even been in a match yet since NWA has came to Roku, they remind you every week, Tom Latimer with a promo, this is our world champion. This is where he's came from. But before we get to
Yes.
that, let's move on. We get a backstage segment with Max chasing down the Lost.
Oh
She's
yeah.
chasing him
Sorry,
down.
I skipped ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh no, it's fine. She chases. Yeah, well, this is great. She chases him down. I got it in order here on my notes. Max the Impaler chases the Lost down, gets in the back, and all of a sudden, a burst of flames flies at her face, blinding Max the Impaler. And then you have James Mitchell and the Lost just absolutely burying her basically and just crapping on her. And it's like, what the hell? This is crazy. We're finally getting some cool backstage stuff, some like moments like when Jake the Snake bit Macho Man Randy Savage, when
Yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter threw the fire in Hulk Hogan's face, when moments like that, when Earthquake
Vince McMahon got
sat
hit by the
on Jake the
limo.
Snake. I mean, these are the kind of moments I like. This is the kind of stuff that's to me, this is what NWA needed, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought now you've got a clear cut baby face in Maxine Paler. Do you
Yes.
have her face the entire Lost? Because that would be kind of entertaining. But I liked it a lot. let me get Logan. Let me get your thoughts real quick because I know you were a big fan of this segment.
Yeah, I really think that this shows that NWA is headed in the right direction. We're watching this with, this happened back in May. I mean, there's no secret, and they they are piecing it together like they knew exactly what they were planning. Okay, now you're going to come
Mm-hmm.
up with 77, and you're going to come up eventually with Samhain, and they know they are doing this so that they have this television deal and stuff like that. So where are they going to go, and how much better is it going to get every single week? And you can see it. Their interviews are getting better. Tom Latimer's interview compared to the first one he did on the first episode, man, he's gotten better just in that short amount of time. And
He
to be
feels
honest
like an
with you,
honest and a real champion.
yeah,
He
yeah,
does.
yeah,
He does.
absolutely. And but just the fact that they pulled them in and had them come up on Sinister Minister, and that fireball coming at it, it was almost like you could tell the cameraman got scared himself. And that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it kind of
Yes.
threw
It
him
was
off, but
it was
that's what
great.
made it more real, right?
Absolutely,
Yes.
You
like
know, too
almost
many
like
times
he
you
didn't
see
know it
him.
was going to happen. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
and he
I
and
just
that's
jumped.
what's
blew
cool
it
about
I
that.
off.
I jumped.
Yeah, I mean, it caught me off guard too.
So did my
I thought
camera.
the camera work was well on that, and yeah, I just thought it was. I thought it was a good job too, guys. I really enjoyed it, and I want to see where this is going. If we get the blow off at Solwyn, that would be cool. Because let me make this big announcement that myself and Logan Frazier and another friend of ours, Mikey Daly, will be attending the NWA big event Solwyn coming up October 17th at Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia. We're really pumped about that. I just thought I just wanted to brag about that. Sorry, Katie. I'm very
I
excited.
want to
Well,
go
well, maybe we can do a Zoom call or a live thing or something to
for
make you
sure.
kind of feel
Yeah,
like you're there.
that would be
Um,
awesome.
We'll take a cardboard
But
so
cutout of
um,
Katie with us and set it up next
that'd be
to us.
awesome. That would be great. Or hold up a face of her.
right, just have my
Oh my
cardboard face.
god,
A Katie
that would be
face on a
awesome.
stick.
Yes,
Um,
yes, we gotta make that happen.
so I um at first I wasn't sure what was happening with Max and the Lost. Um, and then it occurred to me, oh, they're basically like baiting Max to go backstage. And this is one of those things that MCW has done, kind of like backstage um side stories. I don't know what else to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Or story continuations. Um and this, you said it already, this is one of those things that I think NWA was missing, was just this, like, they're able to continue the story without it being a match.
Yeah,
Um and I
it's
love
not just
how they're
wrestling
doing them.
matches. It's not just wrestling matches, which I like. They're giving you a little bit of story. And in this show, just two matches, you're giving us a lot of stuff. You're throwing a lot of stuff at us. You're also reminding us of where everybody's at in the Crockett Cup and next week's Crockett Cup semifinal matches. They really, really hit hard on that, I noticed. The final four teams. I know the final four teams because like I said, they hit you over the head with it so much. All right, moving on, guys. We've got to move on to the final segment with Joe Kazana bragging about facing the Great Muta and Big Van Vader. Then doesn't like Tommy's tone, gets up, he's ready for a fight. And Tommy's like, "What? Like, dude, you are so annoying. I cannot stand you." Like, well,
And he was
did
very,
you ever
very
fight in the
tipsy.
Omni? I don't think so. Just being very passive aggressive. So right when Tommy's getting up, it's like, you know what? Maybe I'll whip this old man. Look who shows up. You got the country gentleman that grabbed Tommy up from his chair, and he said, you know what? Kick him out. And they kicked him out. And that's basically it. Joe tried to challenge Tommy to a fight, but the country gentleman intervened, and they took Tommy out. It just builds to the Crossfire JCP battle at NWA 77, like we talked about earlier. Not much there, just kind of building on that. So you're getting several stories, several feuds that are building towards their big NWA 77 show. It's just not one big match. But that leads us to our main event. And we get, finally, Alex Hammerstone versus the Thrillbilly Silas Mason. We've gotten promos all throughout the show talking about how big this matchup is, with these guys going back and forth on promos. And we finally get this match, and it was quite the interesting result. We have the Thrillbilly going over here from the interference of the Southern Six. Of course, you get Kerry Morton on the apron distracting the referee, and then you get Alex Taylor jumping up trying to do something himself. Alex Hammerstone seems to fend off these guys, and guess what happens? Knight and Thomason's favorite line ever. He gets hit in the mommy daddy button. And guess what? Thrillbilly rolls them up for the victory. So we don't get a clean win for the Thrillbilly. So that tells me they've got big plans for Alex Hammerstone. I think that Alex is going to get a big win back. I'll just say that. But yeah, I think they're gonna do something with Alex Hammerstone by the end of this match. That's how I felt. I thought it was a good little match, good little main event. I thought Thrillbilly did an excellent job selling for Alex, especially with some of those belly to belly suplexes, and the facial
Oh
expressions
man.
of Silas Mason were great. So the guy can sell. He's also a powerhouse. He can do it all. He's a great pro. He's a great promo. But then you got Alex Hammerstone, who just looks the part. He's got the perfect look. He's good enough on the mic. Great gimmick. Great little outcome of the match. I'm glad they decided to give this win to Thrillbilly. And I'm glad that it was not a clean win, because then you've got Alex Hammerstone. So if Thrillbilly, I'll just say this, if Thrillbilly wins the NWA Championship, guess what? He's got a contender right here in Alex Hammerstone. Guys, what did you think of the match? We'll start with you, Katie, before we get out of here.
I loved the use of the ring for this match, the use of the outside of the ring. More and more of these NWA matches are using not really the crowd, but the barrier, and they're using the space that they have in a better way.
Yeah, and I like this spot in the corner where he throws him in, gives him several clotheslines, then he throws him over, and Alex Hammerstone, Thrillbilly is chopping him in the chest. And it was just kind of a good little spot where it was a great back and forth. The test of strength, you never see that anymore. The test of strength.
Yeah.
And I think they worked it to the best. And those are the two guys you want doing that test of strength spot with Thrillbilly and Alex Hammerstone. This could be a potential big time main event.
Did Thrillbilly actually have to go get staples in his head after the match? Because they said
I'm
at
not
one
sure about
point
that.
that he was busted open and that the top of his head was bleeding.
Perhaps so. I
So
mean, it was a pretty hard hitting match. I mean, they weren't going light on each other, and judging by the match result, I have to think they're keeping Alex Hammerstone around for a while. I know they're keeping him
I
around
had the
for
same
NWA
thought.
77.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of excites me that they're keeping some of these big names around that they've signed. I'm very, very interested to see the debut of Rick Swann, who is a big name in WWE and Impact.
Huge.
TNA. He was TNA champion. That's another big name that they're bringing in. So NWA making some moves. A great show. I thought this may have been my favorite main event out of all the episodes that we've watched so far. Episode 5 in the books. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. It was a good show this week. What do you guys say? Katie, we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love all the recaps. I love how they're keeping not only the Crockett Cup, but a couple of our individual wrestlers kind of in the spotlight without bogging us down with 10 or 15 2-minute matches.
Yeah. Logan, what did you think of this week's episode?
Definitely, it gets better and better every week. I think they're getting their footing. They're learning how they want to do things. I think it's fantastic. This main event was, we've been hopping it for 2 weeks now, and been excited about it. And to be honest with you, the other big two. Do you get excited about matches you hear about 2 weeks in advance? No, because you don't even know about a wrestling match 2 weeks in advance, because there's no hype
Right.
about anything. And NWA is figuring out how to incorporate that old school mentality of building over a time. And you don't have to wrestle every week. You don't have to come out and hop the crowd for the first 12 minutes of episode, to be able to get over. You just got to pop in and say, "Hey, I'm still here." And they're learning that that's the way to do it. And it's great. It's working.
Yeah. Great consistency and entertaining stories, and we're getting new, fresh faces. These aren't people, they're just not pushing ex WWE or AEW people, which I love. You've got your own Thrillbilly, Mims, Max the Impaler, Talos, several tag teams. I can't name every one of them. Carson Drake, Brian Idol, even Tom Latimer. I know he's from Impact and everything. They all still feel like NWA originals, and that's what I'm loving about NWA right now. I'm like getting to see some fresh faces. It's not the same faces you see every week in WWE and AEW. This is kind of that's what I love about NWA. It just feels fresh, but it also has an old school flavor to it as well. So another great episode by NWA. Can't really crap on anything this week. It was good. And guys, I appreciate y'all being on here. We're going to get out of here until next week. Next week, we'll find out who's going to be in the finals of the Crockett Cup, because we have the final 4 teams. So I'm very, very interested to see. And you would think I'm in the loss. I've got to get some new lighting in here. Look at this. Come on, Max. Follow me. Follow me, Max. There's no fire over here. Oh, man, it was awesome. That was terrible what I just did, but the fire in the face was awesome, okay?
That was
right,
awesome.
Guys, I appreciate y'all being on here with me tonight. And we'll catch you next
Trey.
week.
Have a good one.
You too.
Have a good